Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening. We have a great show today. We have Beth Williams, who's the CEO, owner of The Essential Face. We get into all things aesthetics, what got her into the business, what she does, and all of her amazing estheticians. So we hope you enjoy. Thanks for listening. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Here for the Health of It podcast. I'm Dr. Randy here with Dr. Tom, as always, and we are Columbia's hottest and fastest growing podcast. And we have a special guest today because this week is Nurse Practitioner Awareness Week, I think, or Nurse Practitioner
Awareness.
Maybe not awareness.
Appreciation.
Appreciation
would be
is
my
probably
guess.
the right word.
This is the first I've heard of it, so yay.
That's
fantastic.
So that's why you're here. Mm-hmm. We have a great guest. We have Beth Williams, who's the CEO, owner, and a nurse practitioner at The Essential Face, theessentialface.com. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
So you have been in this space for a while then, for a few years, right?
A few years. The color of my hair is an indication of how long I have been in this business. So, yeah.
So tell us how it began.
Yeah. So I would say that my path to most anything that's happened in my 62 years of life has been unconventional. So at the ripe old age of 48, I decided that I was going to go back to grad school. I had older kids. They were about to leave the home. And I said, why don't I do something with these years that would challenge me? So I had started the graduate school before I got married. And so I decided to pick it up after 15 years.
Wow.
And I graduated. I went down the aisle, graduated at 50 years old at the Carolina Coliseum. Sweet. Lou Holtz was speaking at the graduate ceremony, and there I was in my cap and gown with all these 20-year-olds. But then I started working as a nurse practitioner in family medicine, and then after 3 years, I got into what I'm doing now, and I think was my destiny all along, which was aesthetics. And so I got into that. I've been in aesthetics almost 9 years. And
I think you got to pull it a little closer.
And absolutely love it. Is that better?
That's much better. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
nice.
Good.
Did you do anything? So what were you doing before grad school? What were you into?
I was a mom.
Just momming.
And a wife. Before
Nice.
I got married, I was a nurse. And I was a hospital nurse, and I worked for a decade in nursing.
Yep.
And then I got married. I married a wonderful physician, wonderful man. We've been married almost 32 years. And I have 2 children. And it was never a thought in my head that I would go back into nursing until I did. So yeah, it was wonderful. So this has almost been like a second career path for me. And never did I dream that I would do aesthetics. It was never on the radar.
No kidding.
Uh-uh.
Were you on like a regimen back then for yourself? Like, did you do skin and lips and
Ish.
Little bit?
But I started out in family medicine. So I worked for a Prisma-owned family practice group. And so I would take care of men and women and all their various health needs. I did that and actually thought that I was going to retire doing that until things changed and that a new path opened up for me. And I went into this crazy field of aesthetics and found that, as I said before, that was always what I was meant to do.
That's awesome.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
So when did you start getting aesthetic stuff done yourself?
In my mid-40s.
Oh, you
I
did?
started doing Botox. Yes, but you think about this. Back when I was, 20 years ago almost, people didn't talk about getting Botox.
Right.
People really were not forthcoming about doing those kinds of things. I'm not saying there was such a stigma about it, but there kind of was. Women were not open to sharing that, and a lot has changed. Now it's not only do we share things, we celebrate them. Some of the things that we're doing. So yeah,
It was a
lot
little
has
secretive back
changed.
then, I think.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Do you think
Yes.
there was
Yeah.
the same amount being used back then as now? People just didn't talk about it, or do you think
No.
the usage is way more now?
Way more.
Yeah.
Way more in all age groups. Because I think back 15, 20 years ago, a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old would never consider using Botox or getting filler done, and now it's fairly commonplace. It really is. My demographic is, in my practice, when they walk in the door, is a young woman or man in their 20s all the way up to 80s.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of feel like that with boob jobs too. Like they weren't that, you didn't know about them back in the day. And now,
You hit it.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's secretive.
And isn't it wonderful? I think that women and men don't have to hide behind that barrier anymore. And I think that we have shattered a lot of barriers in this industry. And that really has been my goal, my mission, because as I said, I'm your unconventional nurse injector.
Yeah.
They're much younger than me. They're
Yeah.
So the first time that you had it done, you started thinking to yourself, "All right, I'm going to do this." Or what was the thing that got you to do it in the first place?
I would say it was sheer luck. When I was in family medicine and the environment became such that I was looking for something different, I knew a plastic surgeon in the area, and he gave me the opportunity to work for him. And I was just like, I don't know if I have a knack for this. I don't know if I'm going to be successful in doing this, but I found out that I did have a knack for it. I'd had a needle in my hand since I was 18 years old, and there's this kind of a bit of a synergy but in aesthetics between technical skill and artistry that I found that I possessed. Who knew?
Yeah.
It was a surprise to me too.
Were you a painter at all or were you into art?
Not really, but I have always been into taking something that could be made more beautiful. I
Yeah.
like to create beautiful things, beautiful environments. Not really an artist, but boy, I can decorate a room, or just kind of that taking something and embellishing
Yes,
it.
making it better.
But
That's
not
great.
glittery.
Yes.
You know? So.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Columbia Family Chiropractic, with 3 easy-to-get-to locations, one in Forest Acres, which is by Trader Joe's, one in O'Neill Court by the DMV, and one in the Northeast by Sand Hills. You'll be sure to have somewhere near you. They offer a ton of services from corrective care, on-site digital x-rays, spinal decompression for bulging or herniated discs, dry needling for injuries, pediatric care, and a Class 4 laser. They accept all your major insurances. And if you mention this ad, you'll get a discount on your first appointment. Check out their website at cfc4health.com or Google Columbia Family Chiropractic. That's cfc4health.com.
You have a great voice, like extremely soothing. Have you always had that, or you trained
No, I've heard that every single day of my life.
really?
Yes. In
I
fact,
feel like I just want to whatever you
Yes.
want to do to me, just do it
that
in the chair.
I've been told that totally, and maybe outside of that professional environment too. But it's so funny. Y'all are young, but back in the '80s, there were these radio shows in the evening. Like late at night, where this woman would give relationship advice to
remember
callers.
those. Yep.
I could have done that. I feel like, call into Beth and, share your problems because let's talk about it. But you know what, though? Actually, that has translated into my business, because when someone comes in to see me for the first time, many times they're very anxious, particularly if they've never dabbled in aesthetics before. And so when I sit and talk to them, I think the confidence that I have, the tone of my voice inspires them that I'm going to care for them well, that they're in good hands. And so it puts them at ease. And so that's really a bonus to this voice that
It's
that
great.
I have. Thank you. Thank you.
And so when a person's in your office for the very first time and they're
Yes.
nervous, what are some things that you're finding helps them ease their nerves?
I think that when someone comes in, and I can always tell if someone's very nervous, just to sit and for me to sit, take my time. Y'all, I don't typically wear scrubs. I'll wear street
Right.
clothes, and we sit and we talk. And I ask them, how they got to me, tell them about myself, and just try to establish a conversation that has nothing to do with why they're there first. But it allows me to watch their face, to kind of make an assessment on the side. I see some places that we could address, or and then we move into it slowly, and it's proven to be important,
Yeah.
because when someone comes in and sits in my chair, they're establishing a relationship with me. It is not about me throwing some Botox in them and they're on their way. I get to know them, they get to know me. They celebrate aspects of my life, and I get to celebrate or cry with them over things going on in their life. I have this, I don't know if it's a gift or a curse, where people want to tell me things. And so we get to do a lot of that in there. So it's
Right.
more than just Botox. That should be my tagline.
What kind of stuff?
Are you?
Like what kinds of things people share?
Yeah. Well, you said like people
Everything.
want to tell me things. I don't know what you mean by that.
Everything. If there is a great vacation that they've just come from or going to, or if they've just gone through a divorce or a hard time, or if their daughter's about to get married and they want me to help them prepare for that. All life circumstances.
Yes.
I'm interested in. Genuinely, I think people can tell whether it's fake or whether it's authentic.
Yeah.
And I'm an open book.
Yeah. Are you a touchy person? Like when you're talking to somebody, do you kind of lay your hand on their elbow?
do.
Yeah, I see that.
Do
I
you?
feel
Is that. So that's
Yeah.
not a surprise to you?
No.
Oh yeah. If I'm sitting down by somebody, I'm
Just a little tap.
Oh yeah, just a little bit.
Makes them feel comfortable. Randy, have you ever experienced that?
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I like that
Yeah.
type of thing.
Well, if it's appropriate, because you can sense if someone is
There's
like,
certain
okay,
areas.
please stay in your lane, stay over there.
I don't. Well, I like being touched if it's like if you're with them and it's like an appropriate time to touch, then I'm fine with it.
Exactly.
One of my biggest life triggers though is if somebody touches me to get my attention, it makes me see red.
Oh,
like
Why?
if
Tell me why.
like if someone comes up behind me and like grabs my shoulder or
Yeah.
like they're tapping me from behind,
Yeah, I don't like that.
I lose my mind.
He's
Yeah.
Mr. Safety though. He's probably worried like somebody's gonna ninja chop him and
It's just
take him out.
it's disarming when people
Yeah.
do that, right?
Yeah, and it feels aggressive. Maybe I don't know what it is. I can't.
Uh-huh.
I've never been able to explain it, but like my kids know, my wife knows. You don't tap him to get his attention. You get in front of him and you speak
Does
to
it
him.
startle you?
It bothers me. I don't think it startles me at all. I think it just makes me so mad.
One of my favorite things to do to my husband, because he startles so easily, is just to do that, Randy. Come up behind him
Go
and tap
scare-
him on the
Oh,
shoulder. I mean, he does not.
That would be World War III in my house.
It's not very nice, but the laughter that ensues is
Yeah.
worth it. You know, a little bit.
Yeah, but the normal type. Like if you're sitting by someone and you want to tell them something and you like put
Yeah,
your hand on their
totally.
arm or you whatever, that's normal
And
to me.
you know, I've been doing this long enough. I know if someone is like is reticent, doesn't want that, but yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do.
It's a good connecting
It
piece.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
Now what actually, so is there a time where you look at somebody's face and you go, "Oh God, that's disgusting"?
Too much. There's nothing I can do for you.
Yeah, like are there moments where you're just like, God, why didn't they do a routine 10 years ago?
Yes. I mean, I would be dishonest if I said, sometimes we have to take what we've got,
Go from
make
there.
little improvements,
Yeah.
but can't do. I'm very honest to say what I can do and what I can't do.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to set someone's expectations up and disappoint them. I always want to exceed expectations And nothing disheartens me more than a disappointed patient.
Yeah.
But if someone's in my office and they are like, Beth, I need you to do this, and they get rid of all the wrinkles on their face, I can't do that. And I'm just going to say, here's what I can do, but here's what I can't.
Right.
And just set the stage.
Yeah.
from there.
Nice. Is there anything that grosses you out, like a pimple or a
Pimples, I hate.
really?
Okay, my estheticians, and you all know some of
Yeah.
my estheticians, they are amazing. They love pimples.
Right.
Okay, that's their thing,
Yeah.
I hate them. I'm not big on smells, but I'm in
Great.
I'm in a field where smells are not
Yeah.
really, I'm not encountering them often, but no, I don't like pimples. I don't have to do that.
Smell's massive. Smell is super important.
Yes,
The,
let me adjust that.
You know what my wife said? You have the best smelling hand soap that she's ever had.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. It is
Dynamite.
absolutely the best. Also have this great candle. When people walk in, they associate this candle with the smell of the essential face from day one. So
You do the same scent every day?
every day.
Really?
Yes.
That's
yes,
amazing.
Yeah.
I think
So
it's a
people
good move.
Yeah, it's almost branding.
Yeah.
They need to rename that candle the essential face because, it's associated with my little office.
Yeah.
So when I think of aesthetics and injections specifically, the two big barriers that I would picture, I would say there's one end where the entire world wants to look younger.
Yeah.
And as the population's aging, there's a
Yeah.
massive opportunity there, or a lot of people that want that. And then I would say the two biggest things that would be pushing against it would be cost
Yes.
and the maybe like the health. I don't know if the health aspect of it or the idea of like putting botulism in your face
Right.
or filler or doing cosmetic type things.
Right. I think you've stumbled upon the two main things, cost being one, and I can address that in a minute. But I think when it comes to putting something in their face, people are less concerned about the safety of it as they are most concerned about looking radically different or too overdone. I think when people are nervous about aesthetic injections, it is, oh my goodness, I've seen a news anchor
Yeah.
or a friend that looks like a shadow of her
Yes.
former self, and that's exactly what I don't want. So I have to assure them that we are making meaningful, subtle changes, but that they will never look aggressively different. Cost is a thing now. And, when you think of aesthetic treatments, they are totally, completely voluntary. They are just almost a luxury in life that is not necessary. But, with inflation, with the way things are today, we have seen that we have to be really good stewards of the resources of people. And gone are the days, and I celebrate this, but gone are the days that we put a lot of filler in people. We know now that that's not really the right thing or the best thing,
Yeah.
even if resources are unlimited. If I have a client who has unlimited resources, I am not going to do anything different than I would with a client who comes with me to
Yeah.
me with less. So cost is certainly a factor, but I'm going to tell you this, another big barrier, people are inherently afraid of needles and pain,
Yeah. For sure.
and if I may be so bold to say, a lot of men are
Yes.
not accustomed to needles. They don't like
No.
needles. And so, we have to work through that a lot. The
It's-
pain factor.
Well, it's so interesting because Tom always says to me that I'm like, yeah, but you have to remember you're just different than everybody else. He probably says this to me.
Canadian. Oh, he's Canadian.
He
so
says
let
that
me
to
throw
me
that out there.
weekly.
Yeah, it's like he's in this like weird percentage of people that just everybody else's normal is not his normal.
Yes.
How
And I
so?
think it's just because it's Canadian. Like they're just, it's like being around an Amish person where you're like, okay, yeah, different life. Like our norms are going to be a little different.
It is. That is.
vastly different life.
But as you were talking there, I would say that if I wasn't scared of Botox being bad for me
Yeah.
or filler getting like stuck
Sure.
inside of me
Sure.
or a thread
Yeah.
puncturing something that
Sure.
it shouldn't or something around my nose making
Like
doing
your
whatever
nose fall off?
or
Yes.
whatever the thing would be. I think I'd be all in on it.
Yeah.
I think
So it's the risk that bothers you.
yes, it's like it's
I
also
get
like
it.
testosterone or steroids. Like I would love to be on
100%.
that stuff, but
Scary.
it's just not good for.
Scary stuff.
I'm scared of it not being good for me.
Scary stuff. And you know what, Randy, I hear you. And I'm going to get on a soapbox just for 1 second. I think that in our industry that there are people injecting these medical drugs and medical products, putting it under the face, and they are not trained to do so. They dabble in it. And
Right.
if you're dabbling in something like this, then you know, you're doing a disservice not only to the industry but to that vulnerable patient that's sitting in your chair. Somebody asked me the other day, you referred to your clients as patients. I said, they are patients. I'm a medical provider. Botox is a drug, and it is a drug with side effects. And so you have to sign an informed consent. I tell you the risks and the benefits of everything that I do before I do it. But your reluctance is very warranted, because we put things in people's faces and we think we know what's going to happen to them. And sometimes there's an outcome that's unexpected. As a medical provider, I am highly trained to manage any outcome that we did not foresee. But let me say this. We don't think a thing about taking a Tylenol. We don't think a thing about...
I would never.
Well,
You don't take Tylenol?
neither do I.
No.
So see, that's the chiropractic weird audience.
Okay, so
I would have to be on death's
What
door
about
to take
Advil?
Never.
Nothing.
Okay.
I usually
You two would get along with my husband so well. He's an oncologist. He
doesn't take any meds or anything? Yeah,
None.
same.
Zero.
That's awesome.
But the vast majority of the public think nothing
Right.
Yeah.
about taking Tylenol, Advil, Zantac. Think of all the Benadryl. Think of
Yeah.
all the things that's available
Just
to
in their
us
cabinet,
now
Mm-hmm.
on a pharmacy aisle. I propose this. You may totally disagree with me, but I propose that the side effects of Botox are less than that of Tylenol and Advil.
Really?
I talk all the time about how I think Advil and Tylenol and ibuprofen are killing people. They're destroying their stomachs. They're hard on their livers.
Hard on livers,
Yeah.
eating away stomachs, kidneys.
Kidneys.
Ibuprofen is not good on. You all know that. So I get it.
Yeah,
It's
we're just
the
in the
whole
extreme. We're just in a
toxin
weird
thing.
extreme. Yeah,
It's the whole toxin thing.
Yeah.
but salmon semen. I
Wait,
think I could get on
Yeah.
board with salmon semen.
Okay,
Or
y'all are gonna
male human
Wait,
semen he's
wait,
on board with too.
I was just going to leave that right there. So what? Y'all are going to have to educate me. What the hell is salmon semen? I don't know.
We were blown away.
Tell me.
So-
I mean, tell me. Why do we need it? Why do we want it?
I have no
It's a mystery.
idea.
It
And who
sounds
figured
exciting.
Yeah, who was the one person?
it out? Guys like Randy, he's a fisherman.
Yes,
Is it a thing?
Yeah.
I have no clue. I don't even know how you would
There's
get
Fess
salmon
up.
semen.
Fess
Yeah.
up.
I don't. I might. Go
He's not
salmon
doing it the
fishing.
right way, but there are people out there that are doing that treatment, and I don't get it. I guess Kim Kardashian did it.
Okay.
And then it turned into like
Beware-
everybody's
Be-
doing that.
Beware of what the Kardashian. I mean, I'd hate to call her out personally, but why do we have to do what she
Right.
does? Why does that make it beneficial? Somebody's going to have to
Right.
come to me and inform me about
Yeah.
that whole
Yeah.
salmon scene.
I wouldn't even
I
be
mean,
able
it's
to
hard to
identify.
say.
If you put 5 Kardashians in front of me, I wouldn't even know who they were.
I agree. I really don't.
But I don't watch
never
Bravo all
watched
night.
Keeping
Like,
Up
Tom
with
does.
the
I could do
Kardashians.
it.
What's your favorite Bravo show?
I don't know.
He doesn't watch it.
Oh, you don't watch it?
I
Oh, see,
watch
I don't
it.
either. You do?
I like Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
big in that.
I used to watch.
I'm not a
one,
house
though.
like Housewives. There's too
Never
many of
watched
them.
one.
Yeah, you just can't. You get. It's too soap opera. Like it's just not as. It's not real enough. I need at least a
No.
little bit of real in there.
No. I really don't have a guilty pleasure in terms of watching a TV
Really?
show.
No programs that you.
Well,
How about
okay,
like Bachelor?
YouTube.
Okay, no YouTube.
Oh.
Why? I don't. I just can't get on YouTube and watch videos. The Bachelor, I've watched a little bit, but not a lot.
Little dabbling,
not
yeah.
not the Golden Bachelor.
Really?
Not into
I
that.
mean, no, not really.
I like the very first Bachelorette when they have all the guys come out and do their funny things to the girl at the beginning.
It's
That's
cringy.
the only part that
it's
I watch.
It's
It's
because
so
it's so cringy. I mean, you're like, oh, why did you do that? Why did you do that? But yeah, this is going to come as no surprise, but I do like Dancing with the Stars.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Do you all watch that? Have you ever watched
I
it?
watched a little bit of it this year, so I had to do
it's
it.
Very.
I did it for Columbia.
Did you do it
Yes.
with to raise money for the pageant?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I would
So that's
love-
what I was like, all right, I got to watch a little bit of this. It was so hard, stressful.
Very stressful.
Yeah.
Very
Not a
stressful.
dancer.
My friend Lex Moore got up there too. Were you in? Did you
No,
do
I
it
was
with him?
I was the year after. I think.
Oh my
him.
gosh! They Chaz Ellis asked me to do that,
Yeah.
and I was like, no.
It's just so.
I like to watch. There's
Yeah.
no way.
and at the end of it, Tom ripped open his shirt and had a big photo of Chaz and Jada Samuel in there.
Did you really?
I did.
You did?
I had a little secret shirt on underneath.
I love it. I bet it brought down the house.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was good. I was so happy it was over. I mean, that was
Who was your
Breonna
pro?
Taylor. She was awesome. She's at, gosh, Palmetto Conservatory, right on Forest, like right behind Poke Bowl or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
that
yeah.
restaurant is
Yeah,
in Forest.
yeah.
Yeah. She's great. Incredible.
So
So,
she
and
had you doing the salsa.
we did, I did Conga by Gloria Stefan. And that was, yes, I've just always liked that song,
It's a good one.
but it's fast.
It gets people on their feet.
Yes. So I mean, that was poor choice by me because the speed at which that I couldn't move my body. But it was fun. I mean, I'm
too old for
glad
that.
looking back, it was fun.
Oh.
All right. So besides salmon semen, is there any other new things in the aesthetics world that you're keeping an eye on, that you're adding into the practice?
Yes and no. You know, there's all these new things that come, and you have to filter out what's legit, what's trendy, what's gonna to have longevity in the business. And I'm just not one to jump on a bandwagon just like the salmon semen thing, you know, because I don't know that much about it. And at the end of the day, I'm a medical provider, so
Yeah.
it's got to have a scientific basis. It's got to have some research. I need to see some papers
Right.
about it. I'm
Yeah.
serious.
You might want to meet the fish before you put its semen on your face.
Yeah, and apologize.
Yeah, and say sorry.
I hate to do this to you, but here we go. You know, so I am, you know, red light therapy's big.
Yes.
You know, there's this whole platelet-derived growth factor that I'm a bit interested in.
I love
so,
that.
So do you? Yeah. So I feel like these are places that we're going bringing the cost down to make it accessible
Yeah.
to clients is really a problem. I have looked into getting some growth factor at the office, and I just can't make it work for my clients just yet. So I'm hoping to do that because I do believe that there is some clinical evidence to suggest that that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, we're
Okay.
it's still, there's all these new things you hear, and
Right.
you just got to sift through them.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And that's the problem is you see a celebrity doing anything, and then all of a sudden I would imagine people come in and say like, "Hey, do you guys do this or offer this?"
All
And
the time.
yeah, and you got to talk them
All
off
the
the ledge.
time. Yes. Or a thing on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. Do you all?
No, I didn't. I never really made the conversion to TikTok.
I didn't either. And my daughter's on TikTok. A lot of my clients are on TikTok.
Yeah.
And, so I hear all these things, these questions coming at me from TikTok. And, no, I'm here for the tried and true.
Yeah.
I don't like to have surprises. So I'm not going to do something that with like I said, make people disappointed, or it be like fish, like something that's just not going to work.
Yeah.
Why do that?
Right. Now, were you one of the first in this space in Colombia?
Yes.
Really? How?
Yes. Okay, so I'm not going to say I was the first nurse injector. Absolutely not. There had been mostly physicians before me that had established a stronghold in aesthetics at the time. But I was, to my knowledge, and no one's ever corrected me on it because I've said it before, I was the first nurse practitioner to hang her on shingle and open up a freestanding med spa. And there was a lot of chatter about it, and a lot of people that did not believe that at the age of 55 that I could open up something that had not been done before. But I felt like there was this niche in Colombia that had not, my little place resonated with a lot of the population in Colombia, and it grew exponentially. And so it was really surprising.
That's cool.
But yes, I'm very proud of being a nurse practitioner in the field. I think that there was a space for them Colombia's kind of different. I know you all know this. The demographic is not what you would expect in other places. And being a nurse, it was not a barrier. In other cities, they expect to go to a physician for these types of services. And this community, they like to go to nurses.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
So yeah.
Did you get any cool nicknames like the godmother of face or skin?
I didn't get any cool
What?
nicknames. Maybe they call me the queen a bit.
The queen of face.
But I feel
Skin.
like that's really more of an age thing.
The queen.
Well,
we can brand
62.
something. Yeah,
I
we
mean, we
can.
got to come up with something.
I'll make some
something
T-shirts.
really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
I'll run a
but
couple
I've
things
yet-
by you.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do. I'll give you total credit.
Yeah. Great. I love stuff like this. I'm a big nickname person.
Hashtag by Dr. Tom.
Yeah.
That is his dream
Yeah.
to do stuff like that.
Why we asked for your T-shirt sizes, I'm gonna make T-shirts.
Well, while you may not be into Botox or filler, I know several great estheticians that I can hook you up with if you come up with a tagline.
Yes,
That'd be so
beautiful. Love that.
So when somebody comes in and you see what they need to do, I'm curious about my eyebrows. What your thought is?
Oh, they're
So when
god
you-
awful.
Well, like when you look at
Tell
me, what do you think I should be doing with my eyebrows? Should I be doing anything or just let them roll? how
Like
they
comb
are?
them? Should he
What-
comb them a little bit?
what
I don't. Are they
bothers
getting
you?
long?
I love your. Okay, so
I don't know if anything bothers me about it.
Why would you ask about your eyebrows?
Great question.
I'm just curious.
Okay, here's what I think about your brows. They are actually very symmetrical. You've got great hair distribution. They look perfect. I would not do one thing.
Okay.
Boom.
Love
And
that.
here's the thing. They frame your eyes. You've got these great, great blue eyes. And so I think your brows are 100%
good?
perfect.
Okay.
I wouldn't inject them.
That's good. What about when Zac Efron got his jaw injections?
People ask me that.
Yeah.
That's the one area where I think I would like to have a bigger jaw. I don't know if I want to go Zach, but I
No,
might be
don't
fine with
full-on
Zach.
Zac
I kind of
Efron?
like. I
No.
kind of like it. I kind of like the fake
did you-
jawline.
Did you though?
I did.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Did you think it made him look more masculine? Because
I
I,
think
was
he looks
very
weird.
puzzled. I thought
He looks strange.
He
Yes.
looked off.
But it's weird in a good way, in my opinion.
Really? Okay, so to each his
There
own.
it is.
It's like having. It was like if a woman had fake breasts, but they were like too big to be
Yes.
natural on her body.
Do you?
He's into that.
You like that? you like the over the
looks
top look.
unnatural.
It's
Yeah.
over the top look. Yes. Okay. So I get that, but I felt like Zach looked like he had the mumps or something.
Yeah.
It was,
Looks sick.
It was a lot, and he tried to play it off like he broke his jaw.
Oh
and
yeah.
that's how
we're
it
not.
ended up.
We're not
It-
believing
it's
that,
silly.
Zach.
Yeah.
Not for own it.
Sorry, Zach.
Why will I have yet to figure out why celebrities won't own it?
Right.
Why? If you got a facelift,
Tell
and
everybody.
we're all
Tell
we're
the
all
world.
suspicious that you got a lift. What? Own it.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, there's something, and I don't really understand it from the female side of it, but the male side, they're just starting to admit when they're doing steroids and on testosterone.
Yeah.
But there'll be guys all the time that say, "Nope, totally natural." Never. They're like, "Oh, I just, you know what I do? I do a protein shake in the morning, and I do a protein shake,
Bulk
and,
up at the
I'm
gym.
64 years old, and I'm, The Rock or
Right.
Mark Wahlberg," and it's silly because,
is.
but people believe them.
I believe him usually.
You do.
I'm one of those guys that
Like
believes
Liver
it him.
King, yes. Do you remember Liver King? No, you don't know. Oh, he was.
I thought for
Liver
sure
King.
he was
No,
natural.
tell
He
me.
was he was so ripped, just absolutely massive, and his whole thing was that all he did was eat
Like raw meat
organ
and
meat,
liver.
Oh.
and
okay.
he would just constantly be eating like the heart of a cow or an elk or something,
Yeah.
or their
Yeah.
liver.
Without cooking it.
Right.
Yes, and
that's disgusting.
And his whole thing was that he was supernatural.
Yeah.
Which I was like, guys that I follow on Instagram were saying there's no way that he is, but people were still believing it. And then it finally came out, all the stuff, and he was doing more steroids than anybody ever.
How old was he?
Mid to late 40s.
Yeah.
I would guess
Yeah.
45, 48.
So this whole steroid hormone thing has just got me so troubled.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree. I think
what do
it's-
you think?
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous. It's scary.
Yeah.
What is it going to do to our longevity long term? It's. My husband is an oncologist, and not to turn this around to make it all serious at all, but he is convinced that our declining health as a nation are all the things that we're eating, that we've
Yes.
been eating,
He's spot
drugs
on.
that we're taking.
100%.
Yes.
He would so get along with you guys, but yeah, what
Yeah.
we're doing to our bodies and steroids. Oh my gosh, how is this a good thing?
Right.
I mean, it's crazy.
It's like so I think what steroids is for male, Ozempic is for females.
Yeah.
But I
Don't
don't know
get me
what's
started
what's
on
your husband think about Ozempic?
Well, I'll tell you what I think.
Yeah, let me know.
And and we share the same thing. Being in the medical field, it would not be a choice that we would make for ourselves.
Right.
I have a lot of patients that are on Ozempic, and I'm not gonna ever judge them
Right.
for their choices. Right? It's scary. We think that this may be overstating a bit, but we think that one day there's going to be a commercial on TV. If you took Ozempic
100%.
back in 2020,
Yes.
please call this number.
No question.
Do you
100%.
agree?
Yeah.
I think it might already be happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed. And so when you start manipulating the endocrine system in the body, you are setting yourself up for challenges in the future.
Yeah.
So both of us would say that the allure of taking something easy and losing weight, because in middle age, guys, I'll tell you, it's hard to lose weight. And so the attraction of taking something and making it look easy is there, but we are convinced that it's not good for
Yeah.
anyone
Yeah.
to do that. I don't know. It's tough.
That's what's always the challenge is like God didn't set us up for it. And same, like we're just messing with too many things that the body is intelligent enough to have its processes, and when we screw it up with
So many things.
so many man-made things that
Yes.
we think we know better than God who set, like it's just crazy. So that's always the platform we're on. Like anything new that comes out, we just look at it through the lens of that just is not how like nature was set up. Like animals don't need hormones at this age and need to lose weight. We're just stealing. We're changing like one symptom for 4 others,
Right.
and it just never made sense.
Right.
Which, although in fairness, if somebody's 600 pounds,
Yeah.
they're on the verge of death's door
Right.
anyways at that point. So there could be
gotta
an
do something
argument
drastic.
that it's
Sure.
the lesser of two evils.
They're lowering their risks by reducing their obesity because we know obesity presents a lot of risks
Yes.
inherently too. So, and there may be listeners that say, "Boy, the hypocrisy of this woman saying, oh, she wouldn't take Ozempic, but she would certainly fill her face with Botox." It's a valid question.
But everybody has their thing.
Yes, it's a valid question.
Yeah.
But it's a variety of choices. Which ones are you? Which
Right.
ones have the least
Right.
risk and the most benefit in your mind? So it's
Yeah.
an interesting topic of conversation,
Yes.
and I love the perspective of what you all do. I think that it is going to become even more sought after over time. I have patients asking me all the time, what can I do to positively affect my health
Right.
or disability, back pain,
Yes.
without having to have surgery, without having to take all kinds of medications,
Injections or anything, yeah.
injections, steroid
Yeah.
all the things,
Yeah.
all the things.
Yeah.
So the relevance has always been there, but I think now it's even greater.
Yes.
Don't
Yep.
you?
Getting super popular.
Yep. And
Yeah.
I think people used to be way more nervous about it. I grew up, again, I'm like the weird one, but I grew up my whole life getting adjusted since I was 1 year old. So I always thought
Really?
everybody and my whole family, I just thought everybody gets adjusted all the time. And then as I got older, I realized it's not as normal as I thought it was. But the idea that you would just take drugs forever and then get injections and get back surgery, I don't think that's as popular now. And with
No.
TikTok and Instagram, people are seeing people get adjusted, and there's kind of the medical community was this gatekeeper to chiropractic where they just kept saying, don't go, stick with drugs, stick with surgery.
Conventional
Yes.
medicine, yes.
And social media kind of opened that up to
Right.
instead of medical doctors being the gatekeeper, we could talk to people directly and show them what we're doing and what the benefits are. And it's opened up this whole new world.
Yeah.
Yes, which was needed, desperately
Definitely.
needed, because now, as you said, we're seeing all of the results of what Big Pharma's done,
Yeah.
all of our food supply, all the things. And so we're looking for the unconventional ways, which I think is going to be mainstream, probably already is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
kudos to you guys.
Yeah, we've just been hanging out there for a couple decades, just setting ourselves up.
I mean,
We're just-
for the present.
That's
But
right.
what a great office.
Yeah,
I
thank
mean,
you.
this is just
Thank you.
This is just an amazing place.
Yes.
I know good things are happening here.
Oh, yeah.
We used to have medical. So to that point too, we used to have medical doctors, or especially in Canada, I was across the street from a hospital, and I used to have medical doctors and nurses come in and get adjusted all the time, but they wouldn't refer anybody. Or this is back in like 2010, 2011, but they wouldn't refer anybody or tell anyone that they were doing it, and their whole family would get adjusted, and they would get adjusted. But in the hospital, it always just had to be by the book, within your scope. Couldn't do anything other than drugs, surgery, maybe send
What
them
a
to a
shame.
physical therapist. But
Is
I think
that what?
it's
Is
changing
that
now.
okay? So did that motivate you to come to the state? I mean, how?
Oh, Canada was So the regulation in Canada is insane. So I would pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for my license to have somebody come in and basically do what am I saying? What am I telling people? What am I doing? And it was the worst thing
Kind
ever.
of micromanaging your
Very
practice.
very micromanaged.
So you weren't an independent provider.
And there was no room for innovation.
Yeah.
That's how I felt in Canada. Is that I was watched so closely that there was no room for innovation, for growth, for even marketing, really. And I think it's, I don't know. I think it's just a product of just the way that it was, kind of like the
You felt
collective
stifled.
agreement. Like, why, you know,
Yeah.
you're doing fine. Why are you pushing so hard? Even when I was in Canada and I was thinking about a second clinic, there was still kind of a vibe that said to me, like, you know, you're doing great. You've got enough. Just settle down a little bit. Be happy with it.
Why aren't you? Why? I love more.
That's what yes.
Growth.
And
Growth.
it was, and
Give it to me.
I didn't feel like it was like a selfish thing. It was like I felt like I needed to keep growing or else I was dying. And and I tried. There was probably a year or two where I was barely working and barely doing anything because I didn't need to. I kind of was stuff, and it was the worst thing ever. I was just bored and didn't know what to do. You know, everyone was just like, you know, just chill. You worked hard. You do your thing, and I just didn't feel good.
Aren't you so glad you didn't listen to those voices?
I don't. Well, and it's fun. And in the United States, it's like, go big or go home. They're like,
100%.
you only have one. What are you thinking? You know, get up off your butt. So it's just a different vibe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that totally resonates with me because at my age and doing what I'm doing, there are lots of voices that will say, when are you going to retire? Why are you working so hard? Why are you doing this at your age? I got a lot of that, you know.
Oh, you just wanted to throat punch those people.
I mean, it's like, watch this. I'm about to throw it down. I am just getting started. And, you know, it kind of set a different standard a bit in our community. There are, and this is just food for future podcasts for you guys, but there are older,
like entrepreneurs.
yes, that are
I think
out
it's
there
awesome.
growing our community and making a difference and shattering expectations for what it's like to be in your 60s.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just think that is what drives me.
Yes.
And I can take a patient who sits in my chair who's over 45 and not make them feel like they were 20 again, but make them feel confident, relevant, that they're their best self. So, I mean, what a privilege.
That's great.
To do that.
Keep electing presidents in their 80s. Like
I know. So if it's good for one pathway, it should be open to all of
That's
us,
right.
right?
That's
But if you just work that many years to get good at something, why quit in your prime? Just
Right.
keep rolling.
I mean, yes. I don't know though. Do you think there should be an age limit to leading the biggest? You know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do.
I like the
Is there-
minimum
Like
age
cognition, I think that's a
Cognition.
big one.
It is.
Intelligence, cognition, like it always is
We
mind
got bit
blowing.
by that thing, that whole cognitive impairment
just-
thing this year.
It is wild.
But
to think.
I think I could get on board with term limits though, where people don't need to be in the same position for 50 years
Yeah.
straight.
Right.
That seems weird to me.
Totally weird to me too.
But they're the ones that have to change that rule. And they're not going to.
No,
Why would
That's
you?
what's crazy.
No. The whole political thing is just crazy
wild.
right now. It is. It's a wild, bumpy ride.
So what's changing in the aesthetics world now? What do you see? Where do you see it going in the next 10 years?
I think the path is opening up for less injectables. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's okay too.
Sure.
So less poking a needle in your face and more about taking care
Like
of
preventative.
of the largest organ of our
Yeah.
bodies, which is the skin. And so if you, my young girls are interested in protecting their skin, gone are the days of laying out in the sun with
Yeah.
baby oil and all the things. They know that
Right.
is aging their skin and it's not healthy. So I think the broader path is taking care of skin and preventing the need for a lot of injectables in the future. I think that there's always going to be a desire for smoothing of a few little lines, of filling a few shadows, of maybe restoring a little volume that's been lost over time. But gone are the days of the inflated lips, the inflated cheeks, the dysmorphic features, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
That is a good thing. And that's something that I can get behind. So at our office, we have really leaned into that concept, and we've brought in estheticians that, are second to none in our community. The estheticians that work at the Essential Face are committed to using technology, some of the newer red light therapies, peels, a little microdermabrasion, a little micro needling. They're into all of that with great skincare. So you don't have to do supremely invasive things. Now, if we need to move further along that continuum, then we've got it there. But my estheticians are educated. They are smart. They are the best of the best.
Yeah.
And we got to shout out Tara Monroe.
Shout out to Tara.
She's been, since we started this, I was telling you earlier, she's told people that they needed to come on this show before. She
watches it
posted
on a big screen.
Yes, on a big screen TV. And multiple people have shouted her out before talking about her. But I know everyone that I've talked to says that she's amazing.
She's amazing. She is absolutely amazing. And I said before that I had the privilege of meeting her probably 8 or 9 years ago. And she moved forward in her education. I kind of became more grounded in the business and grew the business. And then we've always had such great respect for each other's craft. And now that we get to work together, it's symbiotic. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. But my estheticians are amazing. I've
Yeah.
got good ones.
Nice. What do you recommend for a female mustache? Like if we see one, how do we
tell
That's
them?
honestly
How do you-
911.
That's what I
it's
think
just
too.
911.
It really is.
I mean,
there should be a hotline.
yes. It's tricky.
It
That's
is.
a good. When you see something and you're like, do they not see that mole on their face? Do they not know
right.
that can be? It's hard. So I have found that a way to kind of finesse. If I see something really obvious, I will say, "What are your thoughts about?"
Like sign language.
So how do you feel about this hair on your lip? I mean, and just put it like,
Yes.
and they're like, what hair? And then there you go. You got to let it go.
Yeah.
Oh,
If they're
gosh.
not seeing it, then you got to let it go.
Wow.
It's
Which is
tough.
hard to believe that
It's-
they're not seeing it.
It's
know.
tough.
Yeah, I struggle with that.
But
women.
we see that in ours too, where it's like, well, what about like that hump in your back and your shoulders so crooked?
Oh,
That's
how do
true.
you feel about your posture? It's tough because you feel like you've got an answer for it.
Yep.
For sure.
And to answer your question, what do you do about hair on the upper lip? We got laser hair removal. It's
Is that
painless.
the move? Like
That is the move. It's 100% the
Yeah.
move because a big razor,
it
not
just
the
grows
move.
is it growing thicker?
that's
It
a
doesn't.
myth.
Oh, okay.
That's a myth
Good to know.
because women shave their face a lot. And they will ask me, what if I start growing a man's beard? You're never going to grow
Not
it.
gonna happen.
Physiologically, the root of the hair is going to be the hair.
Yeah.
And no matter what, we can't grow a man's beard.
Yeah.
Unless we're taking those something crazy.
Yeah. I waxed my whole chest one time.
Okay,
You heard me talk about that?
No, I've got to hear it though, because the videos I've seen men wax and having that wax removed is hilarious and cracks me up. So tell me your experience.
It was one of my mom's good friends. And she did it she was like having children, but she wasn't working necessarily, but she was just like, all right, I'll see him at home.
Oh, no.
And it was
no.
She would rip a massive piece off and they would both die laughing for 5 minutes, and then she'd put another one and rip another piece off.
It's that millisecond when it comes off before the pain hits that is.
Yeah.
I bet you never did it again.
Oh, I did it a few times.
He likes the
You had to be.
It wasn't too bad. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it was just when you waxed it, or when you
What about the
waxed it,
nips?
lasted longer.
What'd you do around the nips?
She would just like go right around it.
Oh,
She never went right over it.
goodness.
But I couldn't get on board with that Nair, the Nair hair remover.
That burns.
I had a guy who did that. All right, I have a friend who did that, and he put it over his nipple, and his nipple fell off.
No.
It was like
It
it was
peeled
like
off?
so burnt. Yeah, it came
was burnt. It
came
was a
back, but it was
chemical
like burned
burn.
off.
Oh, God.
Okay, those are things that we don't need to dabble.
Right.
Nair.
It's a chemical smothered in your body.
Wasn't there some movie where somebody
Yeah.
did what?
40-year-old virgin.
Yes, they filled up
Yes.
the shampoo
What's
bottle.
his name? Steve Carell.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I've got the answer to unwanted hair. Anywhere on the body,
Laser.
laser. It's
Bang.
painless, gone for life.
No kidding.
Gone for life. It's really a good thing.
How long would it take to do your whole legs?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Wow.
And you'd have to
30
come back for
minutes.
10 times, probably.
No, probably not 10, but maybe 6.
Really?
And then you would do a maintenance treatment
Once
every now and then, once a year.
Really?
Yes.
Gosh, why isn't everybody
Why
doing
are
that?
we doing that?
I'm not going to do that.
I should do it on my shoulders.
You need it. Actually,
Okay,
I've
you have
noticed.
hairy shoulders.
Not really, but there's enough that if you're close, you can see. I mean, I just shaved it. I use one of those
See?
buzzers.
See? I know.
Just whack it with
I
some
may
laser.
or may not have had to do that for my husband too. Men don't like
Just
that. They
lasered
don't
the
like that.
shoulders.
Yeah, I got you, Randy.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Little shoulder
All right,
treatment.
I think I can't see myself ever being like, I wish I had more shoulder hair.
Yeah, you don't want to regret it.
Right. That's
don't
why I
wanna
wouldn't do my
grow it.
chest, because chest hair kind of comes in and goes out.
No.
You can
See,
shape
so
it.
Same with
you don't
arm
want to
hair.
permanently do something like that, but unwanted
Yeah.
hair, that's the place for
Yeah.
That's
a
what I'm-
little
and
permanence.
What about ear hair? Because that's a
where you
big
gotta
issue
pluck.
for me. Oh.
Yeah,
Do you-
wax.
In the
Maybe
ears.
wax. Because did you know that you can wax noses?
Inside, I've seen
haven't
that.
Yes,
seen that.
Tara does it.
Does she?
Oh yeah.
Do you guys look in a lot of noses and ears? Like when you're working on
No.
somebody? No?
No.
What is a good amount of hair inside the nose? Like, is there an appropriate amount?
I think.
Should it be 0? I always think
Okay,
like
it
you
can't
need a
be
little.
0 because
You want to filter.
hair, you got
Yeah.
a filter going
Yes.
into your lungs. It has a purpose.
Yep.
But somebody's got to monitor the hair growth in ears and nose. We gotta start plucking some hair.
Yeah.
Cutting it,
I
trimming
notice like one every so often just coming out of the ear.
I know.
Dark.
it. And do you like?
I grab a little tweezer, yeah.
tweezer and pluck it out. Yeah,
Yep.
no, that's what you
Yep.
gotta do.
I have to do
It's
it daily.
Maintenance.
It's so much.
This guy's just so
you-
hairy.
I swear, the older I get, the less hair on my head and the more in my ears.
It's a sad, sad truth, but I get it. I get it. I really do. But you're right. But I
You know
can
what's
take care of
nice
it.
is manscaping's kind of become cool now. Like back in the day, you grabbed tweezers at all, you were like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and can we talk about men and aesthetics? And you're
Yes.
exactly right. The whole manscaping. And there are some really awkward TV commercials now about manscaping that I'm like, because
For
I
sure.
watch a lot of sports, and I'm like, holy moly, why are we talking about this on
Yes.
TV? It's just very awkward. But Why? There is no
Nobody's
rule
coached.
that women have the market on,
Right.
self-improvement, whatever that looks like. And I have a ton of men that are clients, that are professionals, lawyers, doctors, and I have clients that go to male clients that go to my estheticians. Yes, men are into that too.
Yes. We just need a routine. We need somebody to normalize like a routine. You know how
Yes.
it's like, hey, going to the gym, it's like just a part of your routine. Brushing
Yes.
your teeth, you brush them.
Yes.
You know.
Here's my husband's like, well, what cleanser do I
Yes.
use? Tell
It
me
gets
the routine.
confusing.
There's too many choices. Just narrow
Yes.
it down for me and I'll do it. I have to tell you a funny story. So one of the trends in aesthetics is red light therapy. All right. So Tara, if you followed her, all of us have this Omnilux mask,
Yes.
and it looks like the mask that like somebody wore on a like Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Like a glowing,
yeah,
almost
a
like
glowing-
Michael Myers.
like Michael
but
Myers
yeah,
mask.
Yes.
Okay. So I came downstairs the other day and with my mask on, and my husband, had a little cocktail and was sipping through the little hole in my mask, and my husband was like, "Okay, if you're going to do that, you wait for it. I'm putting on a peel. He said, I've got a mask." So he goes upstairs and literally he comes down and he's got this black mud mask and he has a beard just like you, Tom, all over his face. I said, what are you doing? He said,
We're lost.
yeah. He's like, I gotta keep up. I don't know what to do. Somebody gave me this mask. I'm like, oh my God, okay, all right.
Yeah.
It's the mud. He sat there with the mud, and then he had to get in the shower because he couldn't wash it off. The problems of men and
Beards.
skincare and all
Yes.
the beards and stuff.
I think maybe an exclusive men's only med spa, we're missing it. Just kind of, give us a little safe space. Hey, show up here. Because when we walk into the traditional ones, I'm like, I go into your place to buy those gift cards and I'm like, oh God, I don't know if I belong here. What do I do? Right?
Tom,
I need a side door.
I know. Okay, so my men, they come in,
Yeah.
and their wife has typically sent them, right?
Yeah.
Like, honey, you really need to go see Beth for this, or babe, got to go see Tara. So they walk in, and they smell the smells. They
Yes.
see the pink, and they're like, "Oh, this is not the place for me," and they're pissed that
Yeah,
their
I'm
wife
like-
sent them.
I'm like, should I take my hat off? Did I dress
what
right?
What do I do? And
Can I wear shorts?
and so then they get ushered back to my waiting room, and and they're sitting there with the women, right? And they're like, "Oh God, get me out of here!"
Yeah.
So we go back, we do our thing, and they're like, "Is there?" It literally. Would you
Yeah.
like to leave out the back door? Yes, Beth,
Love
please.
that.
Yes. Can I please leave out the back door? And so they skirt out. Y'all,
A little
no
sneak.
lie. They come back the second time, the third time. Then they're holding court in my waiting room. Hi, ladies. What are you all doing today? And
Yeah.
it is because we've
Gotta get
normalized
used
the
to it. Yeah.
experience, and you realize that it's cool and men are
Right.
welcome, and it's like not a big deal.
Yeah.
So for the professional man, it's the place to be.
Yeah.
Although I really, really am intrigued by the thought of a men's.
Yeah. Almost like a little sneaky entrance, maybe. Call it like men only.
vibe. I
Men love that
love
kind of stuff too. It's kind of like the golf course side. You know what I mean? Like we know what we're
Yes.
doing there. We feel comfortable. We know what to wear, where to go, all that stuff.
That's genius.
Yeah.
I'm serious. That's genius.
See? And
Yeah.
wait till I give you
It's-
your nickname too.
Oh,
Just
okay,
the stuff in here, Beth.
I am telling you, the future is
The
bright.
future's bright. We got big things.
Yes.
I think you could do it quicker with guys too.
Yeah.
Like
They're in
doesn't.
and out.
yeah.
There's not a lot of chit
You don't
chat.
need the experience. You could do two
No.
things at once.
Yes.
Yep.
And just boom, in and out.
Yes.
Yep.
I think they would almost pay more to do it quickly than
Yeah.
to have the whole
It's like haircuts. We're in
Get
there,
it-
get it
Yeah,
done.
No
Yeah.
fluff.
Out of
haircut
it.
at the
No
same
fluff.
time.
We don't need a 3-hour haircut.
Yeah.
And you don't need bottled water with our name on
Right.
it. You don't need the candles. You don't need all
Nope.
of that. We don't need to chit chat about family.
Nope.
But if you want to talk about it, we can. Always, So yeah,
Yeah.
I like that, just trimmed down, because I'm going to say this. Every service that we offer under our roof is something that a man can benefit from.
Yeah.
Every single one.
I tell my wife all the time, I've never really done a facial. I think I did like 10 years ago on a vacation thing that maybe it was a facial.
That's the best facial story. You may have heard this.
Tell me.
Tom's wife got him a facial
I
gift
still never used
certificate
it.
for somewhere. And they called him and they told him that he needs to shave his beard in order to get the facial done. So he shaves it, and then the day of, they cancel on him, and he never went back.
Because I always have a
tragic.
beard, and I was like, all right, I'll do it. It was, yeah.
That's tragic.
Yeah, and then I
Oh my
found out
God.
later, like, yeah, you don't have to shave your
You
beard,
do not
especially
have to
like
shave
this.
your beard. No, you get a beard treatment. That's what could be in
Yes.
with the
Beard
A
treatments.
beard treatment, a beard trim.
Yeah,
'Cause
barbershops
beards
are,
are so. I mean,
right.
beards are in.
Right. Yes. Because they're doing it at the barbershop. That's where we're getting the beard treatment, but I could easily see that at a spa.
With a little facial, a little beard
Yeah.
treatment, beard oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys do cocktails over there?
Good question.
Like, what's your go-to cocktail too?
Okay. So to answer your question, because we're a medical office, no,
Can't
no
do it.
alcohol.
Yeah.
If we have an after-hours event and we're doing aesthetics, then everybody has to sign a consent and get treated before they, have alcohol. So no, although if in my mind I was thinking with men, a little bourbon bar, a
Something,
little
yeah.
whiskey, a little
Take
something.
the edge off.
So, and I
Quick
have
little
been
shot.
known. I have been known to tell clients before a procedure that was particularly spicy, if you have a shot of tequila before you come in here, don't tell me.
That's great.
But that's okay. My go-to cocktail is bourbon.
Really?
Bourbon and with just a little splash of ginger ale.
Don't tell me your husband drinks like strawberry daiquiris though, or
He-
something.
He loves a daiquiri.
You love a daiquiri?
No, I don't. Tom does. Tom does.
You can see
Tom,
it.
do you love a
I don't
daiquiri?
mind a daiquiri, but I don't love them. Don't put me in that category of loving them.
Tom likes
But I don't
spicy
mind.
margarita.
I don't mind
you
fruit
like
in
a-
the drink.
like
I'll
a
do-
little-
oh, yeah.
like a little
I drink
cocktail.
out of a straw. I'll do the whole.
do?
Yeah, I kind of
Okay.
tap it.
Thank you
It's
for
a-
being
it's
on
a
my.
little-
Maybe it's just.
Just a little surprising.
I know.
Just
It's very strange.
Yeah.
okay.
I'm comfortable with it.
But what?
Comfortable.
But is that your go-to
No,
drink?
no.
What is it?
Tequila, soda, water.
Yeah,
That's it.
tequila's not my friend. What's your go-to
Lime.
drink?
I
It makes me crazy.
Really?
really. That's what whiskey does that to me.
Does it? You can't do
I
whiskey?
drink zero whiskey.
Do you have a go-to cocktail?
I would be. It depends on the day. I like beer.
Yeah,
But it just makes me fat
Yeah.
and it kind of makes me stuffy.
bloated. Yeah.
So I can't really have it. Anything vodka, like vodka soda lime, I feel fine. Everything feels fine. So that's probably
Yeah.
like the go-to.
Yeah.
He used to love wine coolers back in the day. Remember those?
Oh no,
Big
I couldn't
wine
do
cooler
that.
guy.
But twisted.
Bartles and James. Remember those? Or is that before your
That's
time?
I don't know those.
That's
Before you,
before your
okay, yeah.
Way to sneak
Total,
those.
total 80s.
Yeah.
Total 80s. But I love at night getting a good bourbon. It smells so good. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. And it's very shocking to people when we go out to eat and they're like, "Ma'am, what would you like to drink?" I'll take bourbon.
That
They're
is
like,
surprising.
Yeah.
That's total badass there,
Yeah,
man.
that is.
So
That's
anyway,
great.
It's so good.
What about people want to know what your current skin routine is? Like, what are you doing to maintain?
I like to say I do all the things, but
Yeah.
in a thoughtful way. So of course I'm doing Botox. Maybe a hint of filler here and there, like maybe
Just a
every year or
touch.
two, just a touch.
Yeah.
Skincare, I told you about my LED mask, those kinds of things. I think as we get older, we have to take care of our skin.
Yeah.
Postmenopausal woman just got skincare issues or skin needs, and so I've got to stay on top of that. I'm not trying to look like I'm 40. I mean, obviously I gave that up when I went gray. But you know, as I echo the sentiment of all of my patients, we just want to look the best we can.
Yeah.
Relevant.
Yeah.
Relevant for now.
Great.
You know?
What's your favorite face to work on? Do you have like a face that you love? Like when you just see it, you go, oh, yeah.
That's a good question.
Is it Chaz Ellis?
Okay, I can't break HIPAA. I will not. I will leave that one there. I will leave that one there, Tom. I will say this. Instead of a favorite face.
Procedure, maybe.
Well, okay, well, I love everything that I do. It's not like I love doing lips. I love doing it all. But here's my favorite scenario. And you're going to say, oh, gosh, Beth, of course you would say this. But this is the honest truth. My favorite scenario is to have a woman in my chair who feels like she's destined to live with what she sees in the mirror, and she's discouraged about it. So my favorite face is that face where I know I can look at her and say,
I got you.
I got you.
She's just
wait,
worried.
you give me 2 weeks and you are going to feel so differently when you look in the mirror.
Yeah.
That is my favorite scenario, and one that I encounter multiple times every day is boosting someone's confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, how gratifying is that? It's really a privilege.
Yeah.
So that's what I love to do.
They're just a deer in headlights looking at the future going, oh, shit.
Shit. Oh.
And you go, I got you.
Yeah, everybody, here's the thing. Everybody wants to age gracefully.
Right.
Until they don't. Until one day they're like, oh shit, I'm 65
Shit, I got
years
shoulder
old.
I got shoulder hair growing.
Yeah, I know.
Sure.
There's no hope for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have felt that in my life when I got my front teeth knocked out playing hockey, and my wife
That's a big deal.
yeah,
It was
my
rough.
wife actually liked it that my teeth were out. She thought it was like a good symbol, which in Canada it is, but in the South, missing teeth isn't. It's more drugs than hockey here.
Drugs and rural.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was a time when I had like a flipper in because they were going to do the stuff, but it looked bad. It looked a little crooked and it just didn't fit 100%. And I kept looking at it thinking like, I could not live my whole life with this tooth.
No,
it's terrible.
It's
I
like,
can't
if
do
this
it.
is my destiny, I'm not here for it.
I don't want to smile. I don't
It affected your confidence.
For sure. Yeah. So I could see if somebody was feeling that and every time they looked in the mirror, they felt that would be terrible.
It's terrible. It's disheartening. It's discouraging. And, it's to affect that kind of change on someone, to be on that journey with them. Oh my goodness, it's the best. It's absolutely the best. People say, well, ask me, how long are you going to be doing this? And I'll say, as long as my hands are steady, because you got to have steady hands, and my
Good vision.
my eyes are good, and as long as it's fun and gratifying, I'm going to be doing it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And a couple more here. How did you land your husband, or how did he land you?
Ooh, I like how you rephrased that. I'm going to say this though: we did land each other. It's
social media.
I'm gonna make this long story a very, very short one. My husband, as I said, he's a GYN oncologist. He works at South Carolina Oncology Associates, and he's amazing. We met when I was 21 and he was like 22. Ooh. We met in Greenville, and this was before he went to medical school. He was, we dated and we had this whirlwind romance, and we got engaged. And 2 months before the engagement, I got cold feet and I called it off. Yes.
Little Julia Roberts.
Oh, yeah,
Is that
bit.
it? Yeah.
Like
maybe.
a little runaway bride.
Yeah.
How did you tell him? Did you just
I
I'm not ready?
Wrote him a letter.
I said, no, I gave him back his ring, and I said, I think we should see other people.
Whoa. And was it out of nowhere? Or did he have
Punch
a
in
few?
the
Yeah.
gut.
A bit. It was really, to him, you know, I was ready to move on, and to him it was a gut punch, and it made me sad. But y'all, no lie, we went about our lives. He went on to medical school. He did his thing. I was a nurse. I did my thing. And 9 years later, we got back together. And I called him up. I found out he was living in New York City. I called him up one day. That was the day of you know, you'd leave a message on a machine. And I said, I don't know if you would ever want to return my call, but it's me. And I was just calling to see how you were doing. And he called me back, and we were married 3 months later.
No
And we've been married
kidding.
almost 32 years.
Wow.
That's
I know.
magical.
I
That
know. We're each other's, you know, I think the secret to our longevity in marriage is that we would rather be with each other than anyone else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
At the end of the day.
That's great. Did you go to any frat parties when you went back to grad school?
No, I was too old. I could have been the frat party mom. No.
No tailgates, nothing.
Too old. Too old. Yeah. I
We-
mean, there I am walking down the aisle with my cap and gown, like, you know, it's just a little embarrassing. But
Well, I mean, kudos to you for doing
That's
that. 'Cause
great.
that's hard. We had a guy in our chiropractic class that was, his name was Fox. Remember him?
I don't
think his name was Fox. But he was probably 25 years older than us, and we were in our mid 24 or whatever. Like Tom's in the back in a t-shirt. He used to wear his hat like way down here. I was in the back trying to learn how to spin my pencil or what. You know what I mean? Like we were just kind of messing around. But
was he on the front row?
He was sitting in the front
Front
row.
row.
Always.
He was asking
And,
questions and
Yeah,
like
engaged.
He really wanted to know like the intricacies of it.
He's an adult learner.
We were sitting there like, listen, we already like know what's going to be on the test, what's not. Like, let us get out of here.
I bet you were rolling your eyes every time he raised his hand. Like I was that student.
And it was always
I
a
really was.
technology thing that was a problem for him too.
Stumbling block. Technology. I mean, I didn't even know what uploading an email was. I had to learn that, or a file.
Right.
What is that? What do
Right.
you do?
Good
It
point.
was a big learning curve. Is that how you all met? Was
At
in
chiropractic school. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Love
so
at first
cool.
sight.
That's so cool. It's just like this friendship, and so now, it's just developed into a professional relationship. That's so cool.
My wife was in our class as well.
So she's a
Chiropractor.
too.
Yep, and our friend Sarah, who's owns some of the clinics in Lexington.
Yes.
But we were all four in the same class, but we weren't really in the same group. Like we kind of had different friend groups, but we're friends with each other.
Oh,
Yep.
that's so great.
Magical.
How long ago was that?
2006 to 10. Chiropractic school.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a bit of time.
We've been doing it. We've been out here grinding.
Mm-hmm.
What are good tips for people to find a good injector? Like, is there any questions they should ask on a first visit, or knowing if they're in the right spot for our overseas listeners?
Well, yes.
Big overseas community.
Big, oh no, because the standards are different. In
Right.
different, I mean, England is a free for all. You can go anywhere and get who knows what injected into your face. And I think that the patient, I love an informed patient. I love a patient who
Right.
sits in my chair and says, "Oh, I've looked up your work. I know your education. I know your experience.
Yes.
I know that you're committed to this, that if something goes wrong, that you know how to fix it." So I say that you can't learn too much before you decide to trust your face
Right.
with someone.
Right.
This is your face, and you want to know everything that you need to know. And I love it when clients say, "Tell me about this," or "How long have you been doing this? How many times have you done this?"
Right.
I'm never put off by that. I welcome those kinds of conversations.
Yeah.
So you got to look also at the environment. if you're getting Botox in someone's house and their dogs are running around, but it happens.
Yeah, I could see Randy choosing that. Like he's like
Just
I'll go to,
the whole privacy thing.
no, he likes to. He'll go to like Costa
Randy's
Rica,
not gonna,
Costa Rican
never
jungle
gonna
to
get
find it.
Botox. Don't go. No.
I agree with the environment. It's got to be right.
It's
or
gotta be
well,
right.
actually, I would say I would need to know the person. Here's my thought on it: is I want to know
Few
people
dates,
who have already
dinner.
seen the person.
Yeah.
I need referral.
So referral from someone you trust.
Even like in our chiropractic office, when somebody comes in to see me and they don't know anyone who's already seen me, I'm like, you're just trusting what Google reviews or just going by. So I'm big on referral based anything. If there's a good referral from multiple people, I trust it. If there's not, don't really trust it.
Yeah.
So you're not a Google review guy where you get on. It is interesting though, because the first question I ask any new client, no lie, how did you hear about me?
Yeah.
Because that informs
Where they're at in the program.
where they are, what they know, and if they say, "Well, Tara told me to come see you," or blah blah blah, then and I'm always so grateful for that because to me that's the best endorsement.
Yeah.
But you would not believe the number of clients I have from a Google review.
Sure.
Beth, I've looked you up. I like what I see on your website or on your Instagram. You're transparent. You're somebody I think that I can relate to. Or I like your office. I like the environment. Because as you know, Tom, when you walk in, it doesn't feel like a medical office.
Right.
It's an environment that's different than what you would expect. It's less clinical.
Yeah.
So,
It's classy, comfortable, bougie, luxurious.
bougie. Smells nice.
Smells nice.
Bougie is a good word.
Bougie's a good. I know.
Oh boy, I'm gonna drop some money in here today.
It's a bit bougie. It is a good and bad. Yeah.
And then I guess what does visit one look like? Like if a person, do they call ahead and pick what they want to do? Or is there like a process where it's like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I need to be here and
a consult.
And
it's free because you come and sit in my chair and you give me your concerns.
Yeah.
You ask me, Beth, what would you do? And then we have a dialogue and then we make a plan. And I tell everyone that time is complimentary because they may not like the plan. It's
kind of like a first date. Yeah.
It's a first date.
Yeah.
They get to decide if they're going to go on the second date with me. And it's their choice. I may not be everyone's cup of tea, or they may need to think about it or do their own research.
Sure.
So that time it's free.
that's awesome.
And so that's how they get there. Most of the time, though, they say, "Okay, can we do it? Can we do it today?" Sure. Or no, I need you to come back.
Yeah.
I never want a client to make an impulsive decision.
Right.
It's their face. If they're like, "Oh, I don't know, but okay, go ahead," I'll say, "No, let's wait."
Yeah.
Because I would rather you come in here ready to do
Excited,
it, excited about it, than to leave with regret.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be the worst.
That's good. So you would say something like, all right, your eyebrows look good, but we got to wax your ears and lace your shoulders.
Let me see. Take your shirt off and let me take a look.
I would have to weigh in. I would have to weigh in, and I can't. I see no evidence of that. But your eyebrows are great.
Thank you.
They are great.
I feel
you
better
have
about that.
very male dominant brows. That is what men want. Men want that. It's a characteristic element of a man's face is a strong brow.
I want to take care of them too. Like I want them to last me a long time.
They should.
Put some nutrients in it.
That's what I don't know.
Yes. When we open up the men's space, we'll have a whole brow thing.
I'm
Where we
telling
take
you,
care
it's
of
going to be. We
men.
could market the heck out of that.
It's
Oh.
like I said, brilliant.
Okay.
Y'all only thought that this was the first time you encountered me and that I walk out, you're done with me. No.
Oh, no. This is a life partnership.
Yes, this is only the beginning.
All right. So I guess how do people find you? What
Sure.
would be the best method to slide into your DMs?
DMs. I have a strong Instagram presence. It's at The Essential Face. We have a website, theessentialface.com. Our office number is 803-834-7573. The good thing about our office number is that you don't have to wait for someone to answer. You can text us
Oh, nice.
and say, hey, I'd like a consult with Beth, or I want to see Ashley about laser or injections or whatever. So that's we're very visible, very easy. Our office is located off Devine Street and in Shandon, in these two little old houses that are just cute as can be. But that's where we've been, and
you guys work on more than just the face, right?
mostly the face, but yes, indeed, we have been known to work on other areas of the bodies. Anywhere there's hair,
Crotch?
anywhere there's hair,
Okay.
the girls have got it. You know,
Okay.
any place where there's unwanted hair, it can be removed.
Nice.
Yes, and we also have cool sculpting, so we work on, we do a little bit
Love
of that
handles.
too.
Yeah.
Love
A
handles,
little bit of that.
all the things.
Actually, I had one last one that just popped in my head.
Yes.
Bleaching of buttholes. Is that a thing?
I think I've heard of it many times.
I have definitely heard of it.
Not happening at the Essential Face?
It is not happening at the Essential Face.
Okay.
It is, as I said, we've got all the unwanted hair removal, but the bleach doesn't come out there.
Yeah.
There's no bleach on the premises.
Okay.
I don't understand that phenomenon.
I didn't get it, but
I really don't know.
Here's what I thought it was, and a friend explained it to me, and I think this might make more sense. I thought they were bleaching the hair, so like it would be lighter.
I don't think that's what they're
It's
bleaching.
not.
I
They're
think,
bleaching the skin to make
Yes.
it lighter,
Yes.
look cleaner, I guess,
I
in the crack.
Okay, we've
I think
now.
that's it.
This
Okay.
is we're
Yeah.
we're ending
Yeah.
on a
Okay.
low point.
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I really I have no experience with that.
Yeah.
It's
didn't- yeah.
beyond my understanding. You know, when I said I really have these medical things that I do, that's outside
That's
the
out of the
scope
bubble.
of our little practice.
To do it, you would have to be someone who lots of people see your butthole. It's the only
You would
the
be
only reason.
surprised. You would be
Who's-
surprised at all.
Well, now because OnlyFans and all the college girls, I imagine they're doing this stuff. You know?
Wait, what were you gonna say? We'd be surprised at what? Yeah.
That all of the people in this community that want hairless
Buttholes.
bodies,
Oh, bodies.
including all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. It's hair
Yeah.
is not the thing. It's
Just, yeah, I get that. Makes sense.
shoulders,
Yeah.
Biceps,
bikinis, all the things. Yeah.
armpits.
Yeah. I think careless is great.
Yeah.
I want my wife to shave her arms more often, but that's something that you could laser,
Just
right?
zap it.
Totally laser.
Yeah, that's.
Totally laser. Yeah.
Oh, she's gonna love it that I just said that.
You're gonna have to edit that
Hairy
out.
arms, Allison.
You're gonna have to edit that out for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on here. Everybody, go
Oh.
check her out.
It was my pleasure. Thank you
was
for
a blast.
having me. It was such a fun conversation.
Here
We're here for the health of it.
for the health of it.